Welcome to Biff's Mystery Theater. I have many tales to tell you. Ghost stories, murder stories, and tales that will make your bones chill. Join me, won't you? For Theater of the Mind, where you always have the best seat in the house. Now close your eyes and turn off the lights.
In a card game, aces and eights are known throughout the West as a dead man's hand. There's a good reason for it. And this is the story of how the hand got its name.
Frontier Gentlemen. Herewith, an Englishman's account of life and death in the West. As a reporter for the London Times, he writes his colorful and unusual stories. But as a man with a gun, he lives and becomes a part of the violent years in the new territories.
I left Fort Benton, Montana Territory, in a little river steamer called the Pride of the West. The journey downstream on the Missouri was a good deal faster than that which I had made coming up from St. Louis just a few months earlier. I decided to write some articles for the London Times on river travel in the American West. But the balmy weather, coupled with a feeling of complete indolence, made me put off all thought of work. Several days passed, and then we docked at Fort Pierre in Dakota Territory. I went ashore to purchase a new pair of boots, and it was in the store of an outfitter named Judd Scott that I first heard the name of Deadwood. Well, the left one might be a bit tight. Yes, right here, in the heel.
Oh, she'll ease up, mister. Of course, I don't do much trade in ready-mades. If you had more time, I'd make you a real fine pair. Finest in Dakota Territory. Here, let me take it off. Try to work it out. So you're a newspaper correspondent, huh? Yeah, we've had 'em come through, but none from England. Must be pretty interesting, your line of work.
Yes, it is. Quite.
Yeah, too bad you ain't staying around these parts. Your folks back home would get a pleasure out of reading about things we got around here.
You mean in Fort Pierre?
Well, there ain't too much going on here. I guess you could write about Jack McCall, though. Try it on now. It should be better.
Now, Jack McCall, huh?
He used to drive a stage between here and Deadwood. Got some tall yarns to spin about Indians and the like. Go ahead. Take a walk now.
Yes, I'd like to meet him.
He's back in Deadwood now. How's that? That better?
Yes, fine. Where is Deadwood?
You mean you ain't heard of it? Oh, worst bunch of cutthroats and outlaws living in all the territories and the United States is in Deadwood. They even got Wild Bill Hickok out there. I hear tell there's folks wanting to put him up for marshal.
Hickok? Yes, I've heard of him.
Yeah, it won't take Wild Bill long to clean up, I can tell you.
Deadwood, huh?
Oh, you taking the boots?
I'm taking them. I sold the remainder of my ticket to a man booking passage for St. Louis, and the next day took the stage from Fort Pierre to Deadwood in the Black Hills of Dakota Territory. At the stagecoach station in Deadwood, I inquired after Jack McCall and was directed to Carl Mann's saloon. Even though it was Sunday, I was surprised to see that the place was practically empty. A hatchet-faced woman dressed in black was drinking alone at the bar, and I found McCall, a broken-nosed, sullen-looking man, sitting at a table playing a game of solitaire.
Yeah, it's me. Who's asking to know?
J.B. Kendall.
What's your business, J.B. Kendall?
Well, a gentleman in Fort Pierre mentioned your name. He runs the general store.
Judd Scott?
Yes, that's right.
How come you want to talk with me?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm a newspaper correspondent, and I thought there might be a story to write about Deadwood, and your friend suggested that I get in touch with you.
What kind of story are you thinking about?
I understand that Wild Bill Hickok is in town. Do you know him?
Why don't you ask her?
Hmm?
Or at the bar. Calamity Jane. Figures she knows him better than most.
Oh, well, thank you, I will. Perhaps I can buy you a drink after?
Suit yourself. I ain't going nowhere.
Miss Jane?
You talking to me? The name's Calamity. Ain't no miss in it. Calamity Jane.
I'm sorry. I'm J.B. Kendall. The gentleman over there mentioned that you were a good friend of Wild Bill Hickok.
Who? Why, that ain't no gentleman. That's a stinking pig by the name of Jack McCall. You been sitting with him. Don't foul up the air around me. Hit the trail, mister.
Yeah, well, I was hoping you could introduce me to Mr. Hickok.
Hey, you English?
Yes.
Thought so. Knew an English feller down in Abilene. Wouldn't quit riding herd on me. Had to shoot him.
Oh.
New in town, ain't you?
Just arrived.
You ain't friend of McCall?
Oh, no, only met him a few minutes ago.
What brings you?
I'm a writer, newspaper articles for the London Times.
Hey, I guess you heard about me and Wild Bill, huh?
Oh, yes.
Fastest man with a gun you'll ever see. I ain't too bad myself, but I ain't nothing to Wild Bill. Come on over to the table, bring the bottle, and I'll tell you about me and Wild Bill.
Calamity Jane was a strange, almost masculine-looking woman, hard and rough-voiced. She told me of her exploits as a scout with General Crook's army in the war against the Sioux, but most of the time she spoke of Hickok. About a half an hour had passed when I noticed Jack McCall get up from his table and come toward us.
Yes, sir. What Wild Bill done in Abilene, there ain't another man could have handled. Why,
Hey,
he...
mister, I thought you was going to buy me a drink.
Oh, not just now, Mr. McCall. I'm talking to the lady.
Oh, yeah, I see. It's mostly listening. Ain't nobody gets talked much around her.
McCall, you want me to put your eyeballs out with this bottle. You open that barn door of yours just once more.
Kendall, you come on down to Boot Hill Saloon when you're through. I'll tell you the truth about that female polecat there in a windy train.
One of these days, me or Wild Bill's gonna pump that coyote full of lead. Except he ain't worth wasting a ball on.
And all I know about him is that he used to drive the stage between here and Fort Pierre.
Yeah, lost that job because he couldn't hold his liquor. Used to be a buffalo hunter till the feller he worked for caught him stealing hides. He ain't no good, that one, and his pals is worse. You ever run into Tim Brady or Johnny Varnes, you watch your step, mister. Them's two of the boys, along with McCall, that Wild Bill's gonna run out of this town when he gets to be marshal.
Where is Wild Bill now?
He's up in the hills working on his claim. Him and his partner, Colorado Charlie. They ought to be back by tomorrow. He'd like to meet you, mister. Wild Bill always had a liking for you newspaper fellers. Well, what's your hurry? Sit down. We'll split another bottle.
Oh, thank you, but now I think I'd better get settled. Wash some of this Dakota dust off.
What a dude. All right, go on up the hotel. Tell him Calamity Jane sent you, and if they don't give you the best room, I'll shoot up the place.
The recommendation was most effective. I got the best room in the hotel. 2 hours later, in spite of Calamity Jane's warning, I wandered down to the Boot Hill Saloon. I was curious about McCall and what he might have to say about Calamity and Wild Bill Hickok. I found him there, very drunk. He was talking to a heavy-set man who was chewing on an unlit cigar. McCall greeted me as an old friend.
Hey, what do you say, Kendall? You had enough of that female windbag, huh? Hey, Tim, this is the fellow I was telling you about. Kendall's his name. Kendall. Hi.
How are you? Tim Brady.
I owe Mr. McCall a drink. I came down to settle my
Oh,
debt.
that's real fine of you, Kendall. Oh, Tim Kendall's come to Deadwood to write a story about Wild Bill Hickok, the new marshal of Deadwood.
Go and get yourself a drink, McCall.
Sure, Tim.
Take a chair, Kendall.
Marshal of Deadwood.
I wouldn't pay no heed to what McCall says. Not when he gets too much whiskey in him.
Did he say something?
About Hickok being marshal.
Oh, well, it's not particularly news. I heard that in Fort Pierre 5 days ago.
Well, don't you believe it?
Oh?
Fellers around here, they don't want his kind. You go writing in your paper a thing like that, you're going to have to turn right around and write that it ain't true.
He's not going to get the job?
No. I tell you, he does a lot of ear greasing, like that crow-bait mare, Calamity Jane. But all them things you hear is just a lot of brag. Hickok never plugged a man unless the feller's back was turned. I was down to Abilene when he dry gulched Will Cole. This is the worst thing you ever seen. Shot him in the back. Then by mistake, he goes and kills his own pal, Mike Williams. No, sir. Deadwood ain't gonna put up a man like that for marshal. You think so?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose it depends on how many want him.
Oh, well, there's a lot of them miners up to the hill. They're the ones. Figure he's a real big man. Heard all them crazy stories about him. You want to know what I think?
I'd be very interested.
I don't think he'd last 2 minutes as marshal before somebody shot the daylights out of him. Yes, your best thing for Hickok to do is get out of Deadwood and stay out. You see him, you tell him that.
The next night, Calamity Jane introduced me to Wild Bill Hickok. He looked older, more tired than I'd imagined him. As we sat in his room, I noticed that he blinked his eyes, rubbed them, and seemed quite nervous. Constantly glanced toward the door. Calamity had gone out to buy some food.
Me and Colorado Charlie had a rough week up in the hills. Feels kind of good to get back. You ever done any mining, Kendall?
No.
Well, if you ever had the idea, get somebody else to do the work for you. Well, what do you think of Deadwood?
Oh, I haven't been here very long.
Ain't much like London, I'll bet.
No, it isn't.
Well, do a little cleaning up like I did in Hayes City and Abilene. We'll have a right nice little town.
When do you expect to begin as marshal?
And any day now, the boys are getting things moving.
I saw a man yesterday, Tim Brady.
Brady?
And he asked me to give you a message.
Huh?
The best thing for Hickok to do is to get out of Deadwood and stay out.
Well, that's what he said, huh?
Yes.
You know why? They're afraid of me. They know what's going to happen after I get sworn in. I run them out, and if they don't run, we have a showdown. Brady and his pal Varnes ain't got stomach for that.
I gather they're the somewhat unsavory element in Deadwood, is that so?
Mister, you ain't just milking pigeons. Why, them miners up in the hills would be dead ducks for Brady and his gang if it weren't for me. This is the worst mining camp in the territory. Ain't been no law here since it started, and Brady don't want none. That's how come the miners want me for marshal. Protection.
Well, I'm surprised he hasn't tried to get rid of you before this.
That jayhawker knows what had happened to him in a shoot-up. He ain't likely to try nothing. A fellow like that gets somebody else to do his dirty work.
Oh, it's only me, Bill. Put away the gun.
I told you, Charlie, you ought to knock.
Keep forgetting.
This is J.B. Kendall. He's going to write a story about me for an English paper.
Yeah, I run into Calamity down to Carl's place, and she told me. Nice to meet you, Kendall.
And you, sir.
My old pal, Charlie Utter.
Colorado Charlie's good enough.
Kendall's been talking to Brady.
Oh, that's so. Rest your saddle, Bill. You make me tired standing.
Brady said I ought to get out of town.
Oh, he'd like that fine.
Yeah, he'd like that. Well, I guess I'll go and wash up before Calamity gets back. You staying around, Charlie?
Yeah, I thought maybe we'd go down to Carl's later and play some cards.
All right. I'll be right back.
Sure. Got a lot on his mind, there's Wild Bill. He ain't usually like this.
He seems to have trouble with his eyes.
Oh, you noticed, huh? I wouldn't want you to say nothing in front of Bill, but he's been scared he's going blind. Yeah, things sure don't seem like the old days. Oh, I gotta get these boots off. My feet's killing me.
How old is he?
Wild Bill? Yeah, let me see. 39. Of course, to hear him talk, you think he's closer to 60. I sure do fret over him sometimes. Always talking about dying, this and that. Ain't like the old days. He sure was a rip snorter. Oh, well, maybe when he gets to be marshal again, everything will be like it always was.
Calamity Jane came in with the food, and behind her, Bill Hickok. It was a strange supper. Both Colorado Charlie and Calamity kept up a stream of conversation, anecdotes singing the praise of Hickok's past accomplishments, but the atmosphere was strained. The man with the long hair didn't say very much. Afterwards, Charlie Utter invited me to accompany them to the saloon. I noticed that Hickok was reluctant. Possibly he had a feeling, a warning of what was to come. It was 8 o'clock when we arrived at Carl Mann's saloon and sat down at the card table.
Charlie, change seats with me. I ain't sitting with my back to the door.
Wild Bill, you're getting worse than an old woman.
Or maybe so, but that's the way it is. I like to see what's coming in.
Well, here. Yeah, take my place if you like.
No, sir. All he wants is a catbird seat. That's how come he's always winning. You ain't moving, Bill.
You got the right idea, Charlie. Wild Bill, you got your seat, and that's the way it's going to be. Carl, bring us a bottle of whiskey and a deck of cards. Marshal Hickok's going to be the big loser tonight.
After a few minutes, we were joined by a miner, and the 5 of us played. It was a friendly game, and we could see Hickok beginning to relax. He was a good player and held more than his share of winning hands. But while the game went on, there was something happening down the street in the Boot Hill Saloon. We didn't know it then, but after it was too late, we heard what had taken place. 3 men sat in a back room, one of them drinking heavily. This was Jack McCall. The other 2 were Tim Brady and Johnny Varnes, the leaders of the toughs in Deadwood.
Well, I'm telling you, Jack, you'll be a big man.
Well, they'll look at you when you walk down the street. They'll say, there goes Jack McCall. He killed Wild Bill Hickok.
You hear what Johnny says?
Yeah, I hear. Give me another drink, Jack.
Well, sure.
He's in Carl's place right now. You could get him easy.
Oh, might not be so easy.
Well, you ain't afraid, are you, Jack?
No, I ain't afraid.
No.
No, I ain't afraid, but it just won't be so easy.
Of course, we could get somebody else to do it. We just figured, Tim and me, we figured you was the man for the
look,
job.
I ain't saying I won't
You know
do
what
it.
we could do, Johnny?
What?
We could maybe get that newspaper feller, Kendall, to write something about Jack in his paper.
Hmm?
How'd you like to see that, boy, in an English paper? Jack McCall shoots down Wild Bill Hickok. Yeah, you could go on the stage all over with that. Sure.
Yeah, he's right down the street, Jack.
Yeah,
I seen him myself. And you know what? He's sitting with his back to the door.
Now, you listen. Just listen. How come if you was there, you didn't plug him yourself?
Yeah, it ain't no use, Johnny. He don't understand. All right.
No,
Forget it,
wait a
Jack.
minute.
Go on, get out
I'm
of
just
it.
asking, that's all. Now, just tell me how come.
Because Calamity Jane and Colorado Charlie is with him. If they saw me, they'd know something was wrong. But not you, Jack. They wouldn't figure you drawing on Hickok.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's all I wanted to know was why.
All right. What do you say, Jack?
Sure, why not?
Give
Sure.
him a gun, Johnny. And don't you miss, boy, you hear?
Look at there.
3 kings.
He's beat you, Wild Bill.
I mean, son of a gun if he hasn't. I had you pegged for no more than 2 pair.
Kendall ain't the best player I've seen, but he's sure a lucky one. Deal him out, Calamity.
All right.
New feller once in Hayes City drew 2 cards to a royal. Luckiest thing I ever seen.
That's a loco thing for a man to do.
Sure was. He took one look at his hand and keeled over plumb dead.
You know, I had a hand something like that. I won a Chinese girl with it a few weeks ago in Deer Lodge.
I
did.
No kidding.
Sure.
What did you do with her?
Oh, I gave her to a man I knew. He married her.
Open for $1.
Wait. Yes, I'm staying.
Stay? Me too.
I ain't proud. There. Cards?
3.
Kendall?
2, please.
Give me 1. Here's a man's gonna drop dead if he pulls it right.
How's about you, Charlie?
2.
Dealer takes 3.
Honest woman.
That's one thing I ain't nor never hope to be. Your bet, Wild Bill.
Well, I'll tell you, friend, I'm going to make this rough on you. $2.
All right. I call.
Not me. And I ain't dropping dead neither. Well, I'll see you.
I'm a sucker. All right. What do you got, Wild Bill?
Prettiest 2 pair you ever seen. Aces and 8s.
Wild Bill Hickok slumped forward on the table. He still had the winning smile on his face, and the cards crumpled in his tightening fist. It was Calamity Jane who found Jack McCall. He was hiding in a butcher shop nearby. Colorado Charlie and I dragged him away before she had a chance to use the meat cleaver she was holding. We found 6 cartridges in McCall's gun. The only one to fire was the first, the one that killed Hickok. The other 5 were defective. Before I left Deadwood, McCall was tried for murder. But Brady and Barnes must have chosen the jury themselves, because the final verdict was not guilty.
Frontier Gentleman was written, produced, and directed by Anthony Ellis and stars John Daner as J.B. Kendall. Featured in the cast were John McIntyre, Jeanette Nolan, Jack Moyles, Larry Dobkin, Stacey Harris, and Vic Perrin. Music was composed and conducted by Amerigo Moreno.
It occurs to me that in my reports to the London Times, there are many incidents which I've omitted, things seen and heard during my past 3 months in the American West. Here, then, some random notes.
Frontier Gentleman. Herewith an Englishman's account of life and death in the West. As a reporter for the London Times, he writes his colorful and unusual stories. But as a man with a gun, he lives and becomes a part of the violent years in the new territories. Now, starring John Daner, this is the story of J.B. Kendall, Frontier Gentleman.
These random notes are being written as I journey from Deadwood to Cheyenne on the Cheyenne and Black Hills stage line. I recall an incident in the Montana Territory town of Helena. A tall gentleman in high hat, black broadcloth frock coat, a dirty shirt with a torn paper collar, and a most singularly unpressed pair of nankeen trousers. He stood outside a saloon with a small case of bottles set before him.
Yes, sir. Yes,
About a dozen men and women were crowded around, and a small yellow dog slumbering.
Not magic. Pollock's original Mameluke liniment, a sovereign remedy for man and beast. It is confidently recommended to the afflicted as an infallible remedy for the following diseases to wit: burns, cramps, pains in the joints, sore throat, frosted feet, rheumatism, spinal complaints, lumbago, old sores, cuts, bruises, swellings, sprains, pains in the back or side, headache, cutaneous affections, ague, cake, bites of insects or reptiles, salt rheum, mange, cracked hands, catarrh, dysentery, cholera morbus, and cholera.
What about the heaves, mister?
The heaves, you ask? And in this bottle, the answer to your question, sir. Pollock's syrup of sassafras, a cure, nature's noblest remedy for heaves, consumption, bronchitis, croup or hives, colds, coughs, asthma, hoarseness, difficulty of breathing, purifying the blood, whooping cough, and a dozen ailments too horrible to mention in a public street. To any of you afflicted with any of the diseases I have mentioned, or some that I have not, don't delay. Get your bottle of Pollock's compound of syrup of sassafras, for it is certain to give more relief in a short time than all the sarsaparillas and other compounds the stomach could bear. Ladies and gentlemen, it costs only 25 cents for one bottle, or as an added inducement for your health, Pollock's original Mameluke liniment and a bottle of Pollock's syrup of sassafras, both with a small sum of 40 cents. Think of the dollars and suffering you will save by this miraculous bottle.
I remember the game of baseball that I witnessed between two small Nebraska towns. Suffice to say that the match began at 2 o'clock. By 6 that evening, the score stood 97-25, and a gun battle ensued which lasted for 3 days. I shall give a more complete account of that incident at a later date. Then there was the duel, fought between two ladies, rivals for the dubious hand of a swaggering young Lothario named Court Thompson. The entire town turned out for the event. The duelists were Mattie Silks and Katie Fulton. They were to fire at 10 paces, and all was in readiness.
Well, sure, if you ask me, my money's on Mattie.
Mattie?
Sure. Everybody knows Mattie Silks. You mean you ain't visited?
No.
Now, I got $10, says she'll blow Katie Fulton's bustle clean out of the county. Aside from Court Thompson, Mattie ain't standing for Katie's bar being on the same street. Oh, there's real bad feeling there.
Which is Court Thompson?
Feller standing next to Mattie. Oh, he's a one, he is. You got to excuse me now, mister. I've been selected to count off the steps. All right, folks, stand back. Let's get on with this here duel of honor. Mattie, Katie, you know the rules. 10 paces, then I count 3 and you start shooting. Now, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. Ready, ladies? 1, 2, 3. You killed me! I'm shot!
It was Katie Fulton's shot that missed Mattie Silks and hit Court Thompson. Some said she'd done it purposely, others argued that it was an accident. At any rate, Mattie took the wounded Don Juan home. And as far as I know, their love burgeoned from that moment on. I must find time to send a more detailed report on Mattie Silks. She's quite an extraordinary woman. Then I think of an old man. A miner I met in Fort Benton. His name was Shorthorn Tom. On our journey to locate his lost mine, he gave me an insight into Western speech which I have found to be most valuable. He was leading a balky mule along a winding trail, and the air was rather blue with invective.
I ain't really cussing, just sort of air in your lungs. Now you take that mule. I call him a son of a gun. Now, that ain't rightly so, 'cause anybody can see he ain't nothing but a son of a mule. But he's a no good son of a gun, 'cause that's the way it goes, see?
Yes, I follow you. Oh, speaking of that, what exactly is son of a gun stew?
Son of a gun stew? Shucks, I'll tell you. That's just about the best thing a man ever put in his inside. It's got brains and sweetbreads. Oh, gotta be a fresh-killed calf. Oh, gotta be. And tongue, liver, lights, heart, kidney. I tell you, mister, that is a something. Better than pooch any day. Yes, sir, when I find this claim, I'm going to get me a new set of teeth, and I'll show you how to make son of a gun stew. Throw everything in it except the hair, horns, and holler. Oh, that's a real grub.
Sounds it. Now, tell me, what is hardtail?
Oh, just a mule, like this ornery stump-sucking son of a gun.
Oh, hardtail, mule.
Correct.
Stump sucker.
Ain't you never seen a horse getting his teeth against something and sucking wind? That's what a stump sucker is. Oh, you don't want nothing to do with a critter like that. No, sir.
I've heard the expression riding herd on a woman.
Oh, that's courting, riding herds. Courting. Boy, you stick around old Shorthorn Tom, he'll have you talking as smart as a bunkhouse rat. Hey, you know what a woman is out in these parts?
No, what?
Calico, painted cat, sage hen, cow bunny, long-haired partner, quail, squaw. You know what we'd call a fella like you, green from the east? Tenderfoot, button, dude, prune picker, pilgrim, softhorn, a greener.
Yes, well, what about you?
Me? A rawhide, coffee cooler, pocket hunter, river sniper. Of course, fellas call me a lot of other things, too. It don't really matter what they call you, though. It's what you are that counts. Now, I take you for a good partner, mister. A real good...
Shorthorn Tom never did find his lost mine. He died up in the Highwood Mountains. I was with him. Then there was the performance of Othello that I witnessed in Kansas, the Frontier Theatrical Players. Othello was a fine, powerful fellow with a broad Texas accent, a cowhand recruited by the wife of a ranch owner. Needless to say, the wife played Desdemona. Unfortunately, Othello had a scant 3 days in which to memorize his part. The resultant scene, I report.
That handkerchief which I loved and give to you, I'll give it to Cassio.
No, by my life and soul. Send for the man and ask him.
I don't want no sweet talk, honey. Y'all take heed of perjury, 'cause you art on thy deathbed.
Aye, but not yet to die.
Yeah. So you confess freely about all that's in it.
For to deny each article.
For to deny each article with oath, cannot remove or choke. Something, that I do grunt. Honey, you all gonna die.
Mercy.
Amen.
And have you mercy, too? I never did offend you in my life. Never loved Cassio, but with such general warranty of heaven as I might love. I never gave him token.
Look, I saw you. You know the handkerchief. Everything.
He found it then. I never gave it him. Send for him hither. Let
He
him...
confessed.
What, my lord?
Well, you know, he been dealing off of the
He
bottle.
will not say so.
He won't for a fact. Honest Iaga stopped his mouth.
Oh, my fear and turkey. What is he dead?
Had all of his hair been live, my great revenge had stomach for all of them.
Alas, he is betrayed and I undone.
Out strumpet. Weepst thou for him in my face?
Oh, banish me, my lord, but not kill me.
Down strumpet.
Kill me tomorrow. Let me live tonight.
No, sir.
But half an hour.
Being done, there is no pause.
But while I say one prayer.
It is too late. Now.
Oh.
You take your hands off Miss Boone, Sam, or I'm coming up there and rip the hide.
player's conclusion had deviated somewhat from Shakespeare's intent, but I found it nonetheless dramatic. I've often wondered whether the Texas Othello continued his thespian career. He could have made a fortune in London. Speaking of fortunes, reminds me of an extraordinary thing that happened in Montana Territory. As soon as we reach the next stage station, I'll jot it down.
In a moment, we return to Frontier Gentlemen. A man sets an elaborate scheme in motion. He plans it so well that it can't be stopped. This proves ironic when the schemer is powerless to prevent the unexpected conclusion, becoming his own victim. Hear John Lund in today's startling CBS radio drama of Suspense. Lund will play the fast-talking promoter who overplays his own hand. It's a story well calculated to keep you in suspense. Today on most of these stations. And now we return you to the Anthony Ellis production of Frontier Gentlemen.
The rocketing coach of the Cheyenne and Black Hills stage line had crossed into Wyoming territory. There seems no end to this incredible land of the American West. As the dark hills to the north and east fall away, the land becomes more rolling. I mention an event in Montana Territory that happened to a Chinese gentleman named Li Chao. He was a well-educated man, scrupulously honest, and ran a general supply store in Helena. During a few days of my visit, I enjoyed several cups of tea and one or two chess games with him. I remember that one afternoon he seemed quite excited. His hand shook as he poured.
This is a momentous day for me, my friend, Kendall.
Oh?
You are the first to know. I am now an owner of a mine.
No.
Yes. Here, let me show you. There. A legal document which gives me possession of the Lucky Hand placer claim.
Well, is it good?
Good. Oh, my friend Kendall, I have paid for it with my life savings. $40,000. You know that some men have been bringing me their gold dust to keep for them, as in a bank.
Yes, I remember you telling me.
It was their claim which I bought. I took much time, much trade talk, but finally they agreed to sell. And now I am a mine owner. As soon as I have made my fortune, Kendall, I shall return to China and live the remainder of my life in peace and security.
Li Chao was evidently the last, or next to last man in Helena to find out what had happened. I heard it 3 days later from the barber who was shaving me.
Why, man, this is the biggest joke in Helena since old man Hornsby strung up that mule for kicking his wife. You mean you ain't heard?
No, I really haven't.
well, there's a Chinese gent along the street, Li Chao.
I know him.
You know he bought himself a mine?
Yes, I know.
You know it's salted?
Salted?
He paid $40,000 for a salted mine. What the boys done was to take him a bag of gold dust every day to hold for them. Lee figures they got a whopper claim. He wants to buy in partners. No, sir, says they. Then when Lee's prime real good, the boys figures how they've done enough work and they're ready to sell out. Li Chao buys for $40,000. The fellas take that dust and vamoose, leaving Li Chao with a deed to a vegetable farm. That's all it's good for. Hey, hold your head still, mister. I don't want to slash it.
Does he know yet?
If he don't, he's the only man in Helena ain't.
What about the men who sold the claim to him?
Well, last I heard, they was headed for California.
Good morning, my friend, Mr. Kendall.
Good morning, Mr. Lee.
You appear downcast. Is something the matter?
I've just heard some rather bad news. It's about your claim.
Oh?
You've been cheated, Mr. Lee.
Oh.
There's no gold. The men who sold it to you knew it.
So? But I do not understand. Yesterday, my boys who work for me, they bring me a sack of dust. Oh, here. See for yourself. It is the same as I have seen before, huh?
Your workers took this out of the claim.
Oh, it is just as it has always been. I do not understand this talk of cheating.
Neither do I, Mr. Lee.
Oh, here, my friend, G. Ping. He's a very fine miner work for me. Morning, G.
Good morning, Lee. Good morning, honored sir.
How do you do, sir?
Oh, my friend here, Mr. Kendall. He is worried about the claim.
He worried? Why?
Well, there is talk of assaulting the mine.
The salt then is of gold. Here, from the work of yesterday. An ounce more than the first day.
I do not know from where you hear this bad news, my friend, Mr. Kendall. But if the rest of my life is as unfortunate, I shall indeed be a rich and happy man. Will you take a cup of tea with me? Perhaps
A day or so later, I left Helena and didn't return for about 3 weeks. Then it was only to spend an hour or so arranging for transportation to Fort Benton. I went to the store of Mr. Lee Chow and found to my surprise that it was closed. I walked to the barber shop and over a hair trimming learned what had happened during my absence.
Lee Chow? Mister, you whisper that name around these parts. Say, ain't I seen you before?
Yes, I came in for a shave a few weeks ago.
Never forget a face.
Well, what about Lee Chow?
Oh, he's gone. China, they say.
What happened?
Well, he sold that claim of his.
Oh. Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Well, maybe you are, but there's a passel of fellas around here who ain't. You know what that son of a gun did?
What?
Salted his mine.
But
ain't that something? Everybody figuring Lee Chow an honest man, and he salts a mine. It shows you.
How? I mean, I thought the claim had turned out to be good. What do you call it? A bonanza.
That's what everybody thought.
Well?
You know what he was doing? Every day he had one of his coolies bringing a sack of dust. Made sure people saw it. After a while, fellas began figuring that Lee really had struck pay dirt. Couple of them went in to see Lee. He showed them a sack of dust.
Yeah, well, he showed it to me.
Oh, sure he did. And he had one other sack. That's all he had. One he kept in the store, the other he give back to the coolie who bring it in the next day. It ain't nothing to laugh at, mister. You know what he done?
No, I haven't any idea.
Well, he sold that worthless bit of ground for $100,000. Yes, sir, $100,000. Then he skips off to China. Biggest swindle I ever seen in the territory. Fellas who bought it found out the next day. Ain't enough dust in the claim to cover a flea, but it was too late then.
I have thought of the outlaw Dick Gillis and the interview I had with him in Virginia City. He had been convicted of holding up a stage and the murder of 2 men. I only spent 5 minutes with him, but I learned a great deal. We talked in his cell, the marshal sitting outside at his desk, keeping a watchful eye on us. Gillis was quite proud to be the subject of an English newspaperman's report. Perhaps he colored his life for that reason. His language was, to say the least, unusual, and so were some of his thoughts.
I'm 36. 36 years out of a mother's arms I never knew. She went up Salt River when I was born. Savvy? My pa, he were a wicked old so-and-so. He used to beat the tar out of me. I run away from home when I was 10.
Where did you go?
Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado. I've been all over. I've seen more than most men see in 5 lifetimes. Less than I wish I had.
What made you start this, being an outlaw?
Man, don't start, mister. Shucks, I was born outlaw. Did my first killing when I was 10. Shot me my pa's horse. That's how come I run away.
Why did you shoot his horse?
I don't know. 'Cause I guess the old varmint cared more for horseflesh than he did for his son. I sure hated that critter. If I hadn't killed the horse, I'd have killed the old man, that's for sure.
How many men have you killed?
A fair fight. 2. No matter telling it now, because I'm going to hang anyway. 7. 7 I killed in hate for killing's sake.
Do you have a girl?
I got a wife. I ain't seen her for 3 years now. There's a kid, too, but I never did go back. I guess it's how they'll manage along. You know, a man like me oughtn't to take up with a wife, nor kids. There's something all fired wrong.
Wrong?
A fella like me. I know I done bad. I know I'm going to hang. There ain't no one going to sorrow. Kind of wish that weren't so. What do you think?
I know what you mean.
If I had me a 44, I'd shoot my way out of here. And I'd head me for the hills and live, you know? Funny how quick a man forgets the smell of grass and sage. I should have been one of them poet fellas. I knew Jack Crawford once. You ever meet up with him?
No.
When you think of hanging. I sure never figured that when I was a kid. Not when you're walking around straight up. You sure don't think of that. I'll tell you something. I got me a feeling inside. Oh, it's twisted. Looped up like it. I'd like to ask you a favor, mister.
What is it?
You write what I'm telling you in that English paper of yours. You say maybe somebody sorrowed when I got my neck broke, huh? Make it up maybe like my wife or my kid heard and they sorrowed.
I will.
Day comes when a man gets to be alone. Ain't nothing more to look at except what's inside. I sure hadn't ought to kill that horse, you know?
These are some of the things that I have seen, heard, during these past 3 months in the American West. In a few days, I will arrive in Cheyenne, Wyoming territory, where I shall send another report to the London Times.
Frontier Gentleman was written, produced, and directed by Anthony Ellis and stars John Daner as J.B. Kendall. Featured in the cast were Virginia Gregg, Jack Moyles, Peter Leeds, Vic Perrin, Joseph Kearns, Jack Crucian, and Winston Ross. Music was composed and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. Join us again next week for another report from the Frontier Gentleman. John Wall speaking. This is the CBS Radio Network.
In Cheyenne, I met the richest man in the West. I also met Willie Ringo and was given a railroad train. This is how it happened.
Frontier Gentleman. Herewith, an Englishman's account of life and death in the West. As a reporter for the London Times, he writes his colorful and unusual stories. But as a man with a gun, he lives and becomes a part of the violent years in the new territories. In just 1 minute, we will bring you this latest report from the Frontier Gentleman.
starring John Daner. This is the story of J.B. Kendall, Frontier Gentleman.
Cheyenne, Wyoming Territory. Here, for the first time in months, I have seen a railroad once again, and here I have had my first glimpse of the capital of a vast cattle ranching area. The town itself is a sprawling maze of streets, thriving business establishments. One feels a vitality which springs in no small part from the presence of that slender but tough link between East and West, the railroad. 2 days after my arrival, I met a gentleman by the name of Carey Chase. He was editor and owner of the Daily Press, and insisted that I join him for lunch at the Cheyenne Club.
There's probably more Englishmen at the Cheyenne Club than you'll find in the rest of the country.
Oh, really?
Sure. I tell you, Kendall, this cattle business is the biggest thing that's hit the West. Bigger than all your mining. Lots of English money in it, too. And your countrymen are over here to protect their investments.
Well, to tell you the truth, Mr. Chase, I didn't come to Cheyenne to write about my countrymen. I'm here to write about yours.
Well, you'll meet all kinds at the club. If you're lucky, you might get to see Buck Wharton. Guess you heard of him.
No, I don't think I have.
Just about the richest man in the West. They say he's worth $10 million, and that's just from cattle. Yeah, he'd make a fine story for you. Of course, it depends on whether he likes you or not. Got to get him in the right mood. Real important man in these parts, I tell you.
Young man?
Buck Wharton, 75 if he's a day. Claims to be 60, but don't you believe it. Wicked old devil. Married to the prettiest little thing you ever saw. Little Minnie. Say he found her in Denver. She was a dancer in a traveling theatrical show. Buck took one look at her and the dance she was doing and married her the next day. That's how the story goes.
Do they both live in Cheyenne?
On and off. She's here with him now. Oh, here we are.
Afternoon, Mr. Chase.
Afternoon, Jasper. Buck Wharton here?
Yes, sir. He's in the bar.
Fine. This is Mr. Kendall. He's going to have lunch with me.
Yes, sir. That's fine. I'll get you a table, sir.
Why don't we go in the bar, Kendall? Make any kind of a drink you want, even a cocktail. Though I wouldn't advise it if you drink with old Buck. He's a red-eye man himself.
No, that's a little too early for me. But I'd like to meet Mr. Wharton, if he's in the mood.
Sure. Don't mind the way he talks. Sometimes he gets a little... Well, you'll see.
Oh, I said, listen to me, you jerk-down little organ pudding foot. I can buy you and your whole shirt-tail outfit, and it wouldn't mean no more to me than spit. Why, man, I own Texas. I own Texas. That's what I said, boys. Buy 'em out or stomp 'em out. That's the way I made my money. Now, you boys take my advice. If they won't sell to you, just stomp on 'em. Just stomp on 'em. Yes, sir.
Hello, boys. Buck. I'd like you to meet J.B. Kendall, correspondent for the London Times.
Gentlemen.
I'm Buck Wharton, mister, and there's two things I hate. Sodbusters and sheep punchers. And if you're either one of them, get out of my sight.
He writes for the London Times, Buck.
Who asked you, Chase? You got more lip than a muley cow. Ain't nothing I hate worse than a leaky mouth. Sit down, mister. I reckon you want to ask me how come I'm the richest son of a gun in the West. All right, boys. This is a private party. Roll your wheels. Go on, get it. Sit down. Sit down. You too, Chase. Sit down. What you boys drinking?
Whiskey.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Listen to me, boy. I ain't never yet trusted a man who don't drink. There's something all fired wrong. Man who don't drink drags a long loop. Jasper! Yes, 3 whiskeys! Yes, sir. Kendall, your name, huh?
Right.
Well, I don't mind doing business with you English fellas. Takes you a long time to talk turkey, though. Now, you take them range pirates who's just sitting here. They ain't cattlemen. I can buy and sell them 100 times. Cattle, man.
Have you been in the cattle business all your life, Mr. Wharton?
Have I been in the... Listen to me, boy. I was one of the first ever to drive a herd up from the border into Dodge. Gosh, I wasn't nothing but a saddle stiff in them days, but after a while I got tired of working for somebody else. Started out on my own, all by myself. Bought me a herd of kettle-bellied critters and run 'em up Tabeline. Made enough from them to buy me a bigger herd. I was a made man, yes, sir.
Here, your whiskeys, Mr. Buxton.
Leave the bottle, you got-eared varmint.
Yes, sir. Anything else, Jim?
Vamoose, boy, vamoose.
Yes, sir.
You listen to what I tell you, Kendall. I got 100,000 head down Texas way. Anybody wants to buy from me, they want to buy from me, they come down and drive 'em up to Cheyenne theirself. That way I sell 'em before the fat comes off 'em, you see there? Before the fat comes off.
It makes sense.
Sure it makes it. Ah, you ain't drinking.
No. Thank you very much. Never before lunch.
Look here. It ain't every man who gets to drink with Buck Wharton.
I can't tell you how honored I am.
Well, no, that's all right, boy. I like you. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You doing anything this afternoon?
Not particularly.
All right, then you take a ride with me and little men over to Laramie.
Laramie? But that's 50 miles from here, isn't it?
Well, sure. A couple hours is all.
Oh, you mean on the train?
That's right, on the train. I got a little business over in Laramie. There's a fella there needs stomping on. Well, I got to meet little men for dinner. Now, you be at the railroad station at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, you hear me? Hey, Chase, you ain't paid for them drinks.
Well, no,
That's all right. Pay for 'em.
Buck Wharton had all the finesse of a ton of coal. But at the same time, the old reprobate fascinated me. And so, promptly at 2 o'clock, I found myself waiting at the railroad station. On a siding was an engine and one car.
You be waiting here at 7. You hear me, boy? Hey, Kendall! Kendall, this here's the little men. Men, say hello to Kendall.
Mr. Kendall,
Mrs.
hello.
Wharton?
Buck told me he was coming with us. I think it's just fine.
Have you ever rode an engine before, Kendall?
No?
Well, you're going to today.
Well, I've always wanted to.
Boy, when you're with Buck Wharton, you do what you've always wanted to do. That's because I could buy and sell any jughead in this whole territory.
Buck owns part of the railroad, don't you, honey?
Yeah, and before I'm through, I'm going to own all of it. Me and you ride in the car. I don't want you getting no cinders and dust on that there new dress. Set me back $300, that dress did, Kendall. $300.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I'm glad you like it.
Yes, y'all fired up, Hank? Yes, sir, Mr. Warden. You go ahead back in the car now, honey. We'll see you in Laramie.
All right, honey. Now, you drive careful now.
You own this train, Mr. Wharton?
Well, of course I own it, but I'm a rich man. A rich man. Kendall, you call me Buck. You got a handle?
Yes. J.B.
Well, then let's get on this iron horse, J.B.
Well, afternoon, Mr. Wharton.
Hank, this is J.B.
Nice to make your acquaintance.
You got them rifles?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, gol darn buffalo, J.B. The cussed things stray all over the tracks. Heard of them knock the engine off the rails one time. You remember that, Hank?
I sure do, Mr. Wharton.
Well, let's get started, boy. Hey, J.B., you want to blow the whistle?
Oh, I'd be delighted to.
All right, rope, go ahead there. I'll take the throttle. You fire, Hank.
Yeah.
Hey, did you telegraph through to Laramie to make sure there ain't no other train in my way and coming at us?
I sure did, Mr. Wharton.
All right. Boy, thunder, boy. Running mighty smooth. Have you ever drove an engine, J.B.?
No, never.
Yeah, we get out a little ways. I'll let you take it.
Oh, fine.
That's Dale Creek Bridge up ahead there.
Oh?
Now I better slow her down.
Why the bridge?
There's the highest in the world. There, Mr. Warden, the brakes! The brakes!
What? It's the brakes.
Something on the track!
Something on the track. There's a boulder.
Now, how do you figure that happened?
But if you come over to this side, you'll see.
Son of a gun. Bushwhacked!
All right. You all climb down out of there. Me and the boys got you covered. Good. Now you all try something, and there are going to be windows in your skull.
In a moment, we return to Frontier Gentlemen. In fiction, one of the things we enjoy most is the building up of suspense as to the outcome. Every Sunday, CBS Radio brings you a story in which this uncertainty accumulates until the final smashing climax of suspense. Let this reminder serve as an invitation to listen later today as suspense comes to you over most of these CBS radio stations. After that, you'll need no reminder that every Sunday, CBS Radio brings you another thrilling tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. And now, we return you to Anthony Ellis' production of Frontier Gentlemen.
Any of you fellas carrying shooting irons?
What do you mean by this? Listen here, boy. You know who I am?
No, I don't know who you are, old-timer. Who are you?
I'm Buck Wharton. That's who I am.
Well, I declare. They say you got more money than the yellow dog got fleas. I'm proud to meet up with you, Mr. Wharton. Now, you know who I am?
You're a churn-dash calf who ain't got no better sense.
I'm Willie Ringo. If you don't shut that flannel mouth of yours, I'm going to cut out your tongue. Well, who are you?
Hank Marble.
And you?
J.B. Kendall.
I see. What y'all carrying in a railroad car?
Nothing. We're on our way to Laramie.
Pharaoh?
Yeah, Willie.
You take two of the boys. See what's in that railroad car.
Sure, Willie.
Now, Mr. Wharton, just how much money is you carrying?
Listen to me, boy. If you think I'm going to give you any of my money, you're a thinker's pioneer, and I figure.
Don't you get me on the prod now, you old duffer.
Old duffer? Old duffer? Why, you gozzling chin-young squirt. You ought to be playing with a string of spools. Just a sawed-off bucket, doggy, that's all it is.
I'll leave him lay, mister.
Mrs. Wharton, he's all right.
Oh, no, he ain't. What did you do to him?
I put a knot in his head. Wow. You mean a filly like you is that old dog's wife?
I sure am, Sonny.
Lady, don't you never call me Sonny. You hear?
Hey, Willie, let's get out of here. There ain't nothing in the car. We can move up the line and wait for the next one.
Shut your mouth, Phil. We got plenty of time. Besides, I got an idea there's good diggings right here. Al, Frank, you pick up that old man and put him in the car. And then you get that bowler off that track, too.
What are you going to do with him?
Why, ma'am, he's so rich that I figure I could convince him to part with some of his money. You, mister, what'd you say your name was?
I said my name was Kendall.
I see. All right, you and this engine driver, you get back on that thing. Pharaoh, stay with them. You see they keep a good head of steam up. soon as Mr. Wharton's agreeable, we'll start for Laramie. You come with me, little lady.
No, I won't. You get... Oh!
Let's go.
All right. Stand over there, both of you. This thing got enough steam, like Willis says?
For a while.
You want to stay alive, you see it keeps that way.
Where are the rifles Buck was talking about when we left Cheyenne?
Up there? Yeah, I seen him. See up there on the rack?
Loaded?
Yeah.
When do you have to throw on more wood?
A few minutes?
We'll wait.
Kendall, I'm going after Stoke.
All right. Tell him.
Mister, I better get some wood on. That fire's going down.
Go ahead.
I'll help.
No.
It's better with two. Fire goes down pretty quick.
All right. Watch yourself.
While I'm loading the firebox, you put it in reverse and open up the throttle. We'll get them off balance.
Back up all the way to Cheyenne?
Yes.
You all right, Hank?
Yeah. What we gonna do with this here fella?
You just watch him. If he comes to, hit him again.
All right.
You take his gun. I'll use one of the rifles.
Hey, listen, I can't see so good going backwards like this.
Don't worry about it.
We could back right in another train. There's one down this way out of Cheyenne in a while.
We'll meet it. Listen. Is there any way for me to go back to the carriage?
Well, you can crawl over the tender. You better not, though.
I can try. I started to crawl over the wood-loaded tender toward the carriage. The little train jumping, rocking over the uneven rails. Hey, it was a sudden lurch that saved me. The bullet struck a log beside my arm. I felt a splinter tear my cheek, and I fired back. I hit one of them, saw him fall off the carriage platform. Then Willie Ringo darted back inside. I made a jump for the platform. And there were two of them inside now. I stood to the side of the open door and waited. There.
Hey, Kendall! Kendall!
What is it?
You stop this train, I'll make a deal with you.
You throw out your guns.
How do I know you won't come in and shoot?
You don't.
I'll kill the old man and the girl.
It won't do you any good. You'll die for it.
Kendall, if there's Buff, listen to me, boy. You gotta stop. There's another train coming toward us. I can see it.
Ringo, give your guns to Mr. Wharton and I'll stop the train.
All right.
All right, you better get out of here, Buck.
Yes, he's coming up fast.
No, that's all right. Hank has seen it.
Jump, Mr. Will, I'm gonna get killed.
You stay right where you are, Sonny, or I'll blow out your lamp.
I want to tell you, J.B., I want to tell you, boy, I want to tell you, me and little men here, we owe you a lot.
We sure are grateful, Mr. Kendall. Why, you saved our lives.
You sure did. Money just can't buy what you done for us, J.B. Money can't buy what you done for us, so I ain't going to insult you by offering any. But I want to tell you, I stand here, boy, and I tell you, if there's ever anything, and when I say that, I mean anything at all,
If there is, you say the word. Boy, you hear me? You say the word.
He means that, Mr. Kendall. Anything.
I'm a rich man, J.B. A rich man. I can buy and sell any living man in these parts. Now, boy, don't you be bashful. You just name it.
No, you don't have to give me anything.
Yeah, this train. How about this little train? She's yours, boy. She's yours.
No, thanks.
Yeah, the company paid for her, and I give her to you, J.B. She is yours.
But what am I going to do with the train?
Sell her back to the company. I'll make them give her to me, and we can split the profit. Now that's what you call a business transaction, boy. Come on down to the club. I'll let you buy a drink on it.
Frontier Gentlemen was written, produced, and directed by Anthony Ellis and stars John Daner as J.B. Kendall. Featured in the cast were Parley Bear as Buck Horton, Jack Crucian as Hank, Eddie Firestone as Willie Ringo, Harry Bartell as Carrie Chase, and Virginia Gregg as Min Wharton. Sundays on most of these same stations, it's the FBI in Peace and War. Here's drama that pulls no punches, revealing how unsung heroes of the Federal Bureau of Investigation operate to track down criminals and saboteurs. Listen later in the day as the dragnet closes on another public enemy. It's 30 minutes of thrilling, spine-tingling drama on the FBI in Peace and War. Join us again next week for another report from the Frontier Gentlemen. Dan Coverly speaking.